Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this particular video, we are going to see what is the importance of various regions and zones in GCP. Okay, so without any further delay, let's start. So let's say you have a you know kind of a application, and say your application is deployed to, for example, a region in GCP which is there in London. Okay, so let's say region London. Now what happens is, since this particular application is deployed within the London area or the London region, the users who are trying to access this application from London will obviously get very good performance, low latency in terms of accessing the application, and overall performance of this application for the users who are trying to access this from the London area will be super fast. But let's say if there are some users who are trying to access your application from other parts of the world, like let's say somebody is trying to access your application from Mumbai, or somebody is trying to access your application from some city in United States, right? Then they might face the high latency. So what is the meaning of high latency here is they might face some delays. Let's say if you have a web application, so they may face that, okay, it is taking too much amount of time to load the web pages. Let's say if they are trying to make some kind of purchases, they are trying to do some payments, then they will face some delays, the errors like timeout and those kinds of delays they may face. So now what is the solution for this is, based on your user base. Let's say you like your application has more users, for example in London, and let's say in Mumbai. Okay, so what you generally do is you just create one more region, right? And let's say it's a region Mumbai, and you deploy your application in two regions basically, right? You deploy your application in region 1, which is your London, and region 2, which is Mumbai. So now the meaning of this particular thing is your application is being served from two regions, region 1 as London, region 2 as Mumbai. Now what are the advantages that we get when we have this kind of a deployment strategy is, let's say if your London region goes entirely down, right? So for example, this is completely down, but still your application doesn't crashes, or it still serves, though users will face some kind of high latency if people are trying to, because now if your London region goes down, then your application will be served from Mumbai region, and the users who are trying to access your application you know little bit ahead or far from Mumbai, then they will face some kind of delays in accessing the application, but it will not go down. Okay, that's what the point is. So ideally the availability of your application increases when you have multiple regions. Okay, so this is the concept of a region. Broadly, it's part of the world where your application is being deployed, right? And generally how organization decides whether to deploy the application in which region, then this is what the strategy is, that wherever the user base is more, let's say application has users from all over the world, then what they generally do is, like, they deploy some sort of application in all the regions of the world, like let's say London for European users, for all the Asia specific users they deploy it in somewhere Asian regions like Mumbai, or there are lots of other locations that are available, then US east west. So basically GCP gives you almost 20 plus regions to deploy the application, and based on your choice where user base are, you are getting the more request, you can deploy the application into those regions, and then can get users can get very good performance of your application, like low latency, high availability. All these advantage you will get. Now, within region, there is a concept of zone, right? What is that? So, say this region has three zones, right? So, let's say this is the first zone, second zone, and third zone. Okay, so let's say zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. Now, what is the advantages of this zone? Let's say if this is the region, and this particular region covers a wide range of you know actual physical region. So in that case, it makes much more sense to create different zones within the region, so that again it impacts your high availability of the application. So let's say, for example, if one zone goes down, then you still have two more zones to serve your application. So in this case, how the deployment will happen? Your application, when we say we have deployed your application into one region, like whatever amount of zones it has, let's say it has like three zones here, then your application will be available on all three zones. And based on from where the load is coming, from where the user is trying to access the application, then the zones will be divided and they will serve the respective users. Because like if you take London, if you take Mumbai, these are the very vast regions when it comes to actual size of the region, if you consider. So obviously, even within those region, if there are many requests that are coming, then just to adhere to those number of requests to serve them in an efficient way, we would need the zones as well. And obviously, right, if you have multiple zones within the region, then the availability of your application, the overall performance of your application will increase a lot, and ultimately your users will get the best performance from your application. So basically, long story short, whenever you wanted to increase the high availability of your application, you always deploy it into multiple regions, so that if one of the regions goes down, you still have one more entire region to serve your application, right? And why we need zone? Again, to increase the high availability, or maybe better performance, load balancing, you would need multiple zones within the application, or within the region. So this is the concept that because of which we need multiple regions and zones within your cluster or application, wherever you are trying to create your resources. I hope you understood the concept of regions and zone and why we need those. Thanks for watching this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.